Guys, it's Angie from TwinFinity, and yes, I am coming to you from my bathroom. I know it's kind of a weird place to do a video, and it's a little bit of an actual spontaneous video. Um, Funny story to go with it, but I just thought it actually had so many good messages from the universe that I wanted to share. So first of all, let me see if I can do this in a way that you can see it. I'm about to clean all of this jewelry, and there's a little bit of a story about all this jewelry. So for those of you that have been watching my recent videos, I have this slight new addiction called Facebook Marketplace. There's so many things on there to buy, and I also sell lots of things too. And the other day I was just scrolling through it just because that's what I do sometimes. And somebody was giving away a bag of free jewelry. And I inquired. And she had said, you know, first person to come get it gets it. There's no holds, and you know, it's like you can't say I'm on my way. You just have to show up, and if you're there, then you're the first person, you get it. And unfortunately, I couldn't actually go for a couple of hours because Rob and I had other things on the go. So I just had to let it go and thought, well, if it's mine, it'll be there. And if it's not, not a big deal. It's not like I need more jewelry. Let's really be honest. But what's really cool is I did end up getting it, even though it was hours later. I got it and I was super excited, even though there was no real picture of what the jewelry was. Had no clue if it was even going to be stuff I would like. But I just thought, whatever, if it's not, then I'll just post it back out and give it away again. So I get home. First thing I always do with stuff that I get off Marketplace is I clear the energy, sage it, smudge it. So I did that. I just spread it all out at the very front entrance of the house. Sometimes I don't even bring stuff in the house. I just kind of read the energy and decide how I'm going to do it. But this one I just brought in the very landing of the house, put it on a mat, and spread it all out and saged it. And as I'm spreading it out, I'm like squealing with joy. And Rob's like, oh my goodness. Because there were so many pieces that were like totally me. I mean, everybody has completely different taste. Who knew there was even going to be anything I'd like? But so many things I loved. And as I was just feeling such deep gratitude for this, Spirit said, this is in return for all the jewelry you lost in your eviction. So again, for those of you that might not know our story, I'll try and link that video from our story in here. If I even did the eviction in one video, I don't even remember. It was so long ago we did our story videos. But again, for those of you that might not know, part of my journey, actually amazingly enough, almost 22 years to the day, it was 1998, October of 1998, that I was evicted from my very first apartment that I ever lived in, the same building that Rob was in. That's how we met, was in that building. And I was evicted because I followed Spirit's guidance. They had guided me to do many things, and I followed, and unfortunately it led to me getting evicted. And I was so angry. I just hated God. I hated angels. I shut down all my spiritual abilities because I thought, if you're going to lead me to get evicted and lose all my stuff, forget it. This journey is not for me. And this is part of the point I want to make, is that sometimes things happen on this journey, whether it's twin flame journey or just spiritual journey in general, that we don't understand. And in the midst of it, we think we've been betrayed by Spirit, betrayed by God. We think we've been lied to, that we should have been helped, or that we lost something that we shouldn't have lost. And that was part of my experience, is of course being evicted. I lost pretty much all my stuff. The only things I got to keep were like personal things. Amazingly enough, my journals. I'm so grateful, because that was my life back then, was just writing is how I coped. But I mean, quite frankly, because I was being evicted, they could have just tossed all of my stuff. But my personal things, photos, journals, stuff like that, they actually packed in a box, and I got to keep that. But anyway, aside from that, there was some things that I was devastated to lose. And one of the things was my jewelry. I had lots of, and it was all cheap jewelry. I mean, there was nothing expensive. It was just costume jewelry. But it just meant so much to me because I love jewelry. I love the prettiness of it. Again, it's something that really reminds me of spirit world, reminds me of home, just the sparkle, the life, the colors, all of that stuff. So I was really, really sad to lose that because that's not something you can just replace. There's lots of pieces that I would never be able to replace. In fact, a lot of my jewelry I actually made, interestingly enough, back when I was meeting Rob. I was really connecting with, I didn't know at the time, but connecting with my past life as a Native American. And so I was doing a lot of beading, making a lot of my own jewelry. So all of that gone, lost forever. Now, I didn't know at the time, I didn't understand at the time what my eviction purpose was. I just thought it was God being a jerk and being mean. I didn't understand at that point that I was the one that designed my life, designed how things would work. And the fact was, everything I owned had to go because the energy was so low. A lot of that was still from my childhood. There was even my bed back then was my parents' first bed. They really struggled when they were younger in terms of finances. And it took them years to get a bed. When they finally got their first bed, that was their bed. And then when they started making more money, I got their bed. So you can imagine the negative energy off of that bed. And I was sleeping in that for many years. So as I was going through the ascension process back in 1997, 98, and further on in years, all those low vibration things in my life had to go. And that was the way I had chosen as a soul for them to go, was through eviction. So just again to say that you might have situations, especially right now at the times we're in with COVID, you might be losing family, friends, things, your home, job, who knows? There's so many people going through massive transition right now. And it might not have reason. It might feel discouraging, hopeless. You might feel like you're being betrayed, like you're being abused by spirit. And the biggest message I want to give you is that there's always, always, always a reason, always a higher purpose. You just might not understand it at the time. For me, it took many, many years before I was able to understand what the purpose of my eviction was. And now, quite honestly, I'm very grateful for it. Even though it was a very hard time in my life, I'm grateful because I wouldn't want any of that stuff with all that low energy it all had. It had a lot of energy from my childhood, which was very abusive, very traumatic. Who wants to carry that energy around? But the fact is, even though I understand why it all had to go, one of the things I have never been able to fully let go of is the jewelry. I've always been sad about losing my jewelry. So when I came home the other day and was squealing with joy as I was clearing the energy off of this stuff, I heard Spirit say, this is the replacement for the jewelry you lost many years ago. And of course, I have bought lots of jewelry over the years to replace the stuff I had, but I've just never gotten over it because it's still, even though I understand the higher perspective, I'm still a human being just like you. We still have feelings, we still have emotions, we're still going to grieve. And it was like Spirit's way of saying, here's a bit of a payback for following your guidance, and now something that you lost and you cherished, we're going to repay you for. Now, that's another piece of the amazing story, is how divine timing works. This is 22 years later, as I say, almost to the day. This is September that I got this jewelry of 2020. I lost all my stuff in October of 1998. So almost 22 years to the day that Spirit decided to kindly repay me in jewelry that I lost. But the fact is, does it matter? You start to understand on this journey how divine timing works. And we get what we need and what we want, what we desire, when the right time is, not when we think it's time. And it's the fact that there really is no time. So 22 years might seem like a long time, but in Spirit's world, that's like a blink of an eye. So it's when we can learn to just trust the process, trust the flow of the divine guidance we're given, and know that even if it doesn't make sense in the time that we're in, if we can put our logical side aside and go, okay, Spirit, even though this doesn't make sense to me, I trust you. It might be your twin has walked away from you. It might be your twin is no longer on this earth. It might be, as I say, you've lost your home. You've lost your stuff. You've lost a job. So just a bit of encouragement to let you know that everything does have divine purpose, divine reason, divine timing. And if we can just learn to honor it, but also in the meantime, honor ourselves. Even though we are divine, eternal beings, we are still on this earth as human beings with emotions, with feelings, and we need to honor that too. And I have had to honor for 22 years my grieving over my lost jewelry. And again, it was just jewelry. It was really nothing significant in monetary terms, but it was significant to me because it meant so much to me. I mean, I lost many more expensive possessions than my jewelry, but my jewelry was one of the most valuable things to me for what it meant spiritually and emotionally. So on that note, I just wanted to show you some of these pieces and show you why I'm so excited. First of all, I wore this one today. I don't know how well it'll show up in here. It actually matches almost perfectly this dress, which has hearts and, or not hearts, pretty little flowers. And this is also, I'm a very matchy person. It's got matching earrings and then another set that match as well. And how many people collect angel stuff? Angel wings and hearts? Look at these pretty hearts. It's like Spirit knew. Spirit directed me to this. And that's another piece of the lesson, and pretty butterflies with lots of color and shininess to them. And funny little dice that are my two favorite colors, pink and purple. And Rob and I play a dice game almost every night called Kismet. So I thought those were really funny. And just super pretty things. So I wanted to show you that just because maybe they'll bring you joy like they bring me joy. But also just to remind you that nothing that is meant for you is going to pass you by. It might not come in the time that you want. It might not come in the way that you expect. But if it's meant for you, it is yours. It's just like this. It was hours before I could go pick this up. And I had to drive a ways to get it. Luckily, it was actually on my way of where I was going, where Rob and I were going to run some errands. But somebody else could have picked this up in the meantime, and they didn't because it was meant for me energetically. So it's to remind you as well on this especially twin flame journey that if you're thinking it's never going to happen with my twin and you're feeling hopeless and discouraged, what's meant for you will never pass you by. We just have to trust in the divine plan, in the divine timing, and know that Spirit always, always, always has our back. So with that little story, I send you my love, I send you my blessings, and I send you sparkly earring jewelry vibes. Lots of love, you guys. Bye for now. Hey guys, I'm back. I know for you this doesn't seem like I'm back at all because I am just adding this to the other part of the video. But for me, it's actually been a little while. Just shows I haven't posted this video because there just hasn't been divine timing yet, which the universe always has a plan. And I thought I would add on to this video because the universe gave me more to share. So from when I did the first part of this video, right after I did the video, I took the dog for my regular evening walk that I do. Again, for those of you that know our videos, you know we've done, I think, a couple videos actually out by, just behind our house, there's like a set of stairs, and I always climb the stairs with the dog. And I was climbing the stairs, and right at my feet was this. If you are not from Canada and are not familiar, this is a $20 bill. And this was the exact one. I've left it out. I didn't even put it in my wallet yet. I wanted to save it and share it with you guys. I just was taking a step up one of the stairs and it was just right there. I was amazed. And so it just goes to show you again from what I was saying earlier that the universe is always supporting us, always guiding us, always helping us, and always blessing us. And it was so neat. I was in such awe from this $20 bill. And quite frankly, I find money all the time, all the time. But never right at my feet like that. And not always $20 bills. I usually find dimes, not $20 bills. So I was just in awe for the rest of my walk, just thanking the universe and feeling so, so grateful for the gift. And what I heard was that it was to replace something that I had recently lost. And this again is just to reiterate the fact that when something is meant to go, it's going to go whether we try to hang on to it or not. So that's kind of where I wanted to go with this. It's not so much about money, or being gifted with money, but being gifted with what we need when we need it and learning to trust the universe. Just another silly story maybe. I shouldn't say have because it's gone now. I had a beautiful rainbow golf ball marker. So if you're not a golfer, you can get like these little round, pretty disc kind of things, and that's what you use to mark your ball if you're all on the green at the same time and your ball's going to be in somebody's way. You take your ball away and you put this little thing on the ground. They don't have to be pretty, but because I'm me, mine had to be pretty. So when Rob and I were on our honeymoon a couple years ago, I actually bought a rainbow one, and it was so me. You would all be amazed if you saw it because it was blingy, it was colorful, it was beautiful. And it just refused to stay. This summer, it tried everything it could to leave, and I tried everything I could to make it stay, and it finally was like, nope, I'm leaving no matter what you do. I had it clipped on in a different spot because it kept falling off of where I did have it, and I re-clipped it on in another spot, and it still disappeared. And the only explanation my friends and I have is that a bird took it, because there's no other way it couldn't have fallen off of my golf cart. So the point is, the universe told me this money that I had found was to replace my ball marker that I have been devastated over losing. Not because it's a ball marker. I don't even use it for golf. I use it more just to enjoy because it's beautiful and it brings me joy. But it needed to go, and I just had to bless it and say, whoever needs to find this, whoever is meant to have this now, I hope you enjoy it as much as I did, and I hope you get, maybe they were asking for a sign and maybe they got their sign finding this rainbow little sparkly thing. So the point is, the universe will take away what is not meant for us or what is not meant for us at that time, but it will always replace it with either something that we can then go get something else with, or it'll replace it with something better. So how this relates to the twin flame journey is that if your twin is trying to leave, if they're wanting to go from your life right now, let them go. Don't hang on, don't cling, don't pull to them, beg them to stay. Just surrender in the moment and know that the universe has your back, and when the time is right, they or somebody else better will come to you for your highest purpose. So that's just a little story to share. I also wanted to do this video, interestingly enough, in front of these flowers that Rob just gave me, just to give you all some beauty and inspiration. They were just beautiful just because flowers. He just came home one night, surprised me, and I was just in awe. And the funny thing is, I'm actually wearing a dress today with roses on it, and I didn't even plan that. I was just inspired to do this video with roses in the background. So maybe you need a message of roses. And on that hand, before I let you go for good this time, hopefully, and the universe has more messages to share, I was in my Reiki room, which is where I keep these angel cards. If you were on with the live that I did a couple weeks ago, I was pulling cards for people, and I used these fun little cards. This card just literally jumped out at me. It was bizarre. I wasn't even playing with the cards, wasn't even touching them, and it just ended up on the floor. So I was like, okay. So I asked what it was for, and it said it was a message for me to share in this video. So I don't know if you can read it in there, so I will read it for you as well. So it says it's a prayer, and it says, "Dear God, help me always to remember that this present life is but a fleeting moment within eternity. Help me always to remember that this life is but a dream. Help me always to remember that you exist within everyone and everything." So true, even the things we don't think so. Think of that in COVID times right now. Every situation has a purpose and is a blessing if we choose to see it that way. Help me also to remember that love is all there is and all else is an illusion. And then at the end it says, "Thank you." So I will leave you with that. Just wanted to wish you much love, share some inspiration with you, help remind you that the universe is truly always supporting you, always guiding us, and has our back in every situation. Love you, love you, love you guys. Bye.